Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alistair and we've got a very special guest today. We've got Lauren. Hi Lauren. Thank you so much for coming on the channel today.
Thank you for having me.
To let everybody know about you and how you went vegan. Do you want to let everybody know?
Yes. So it was about 9 years ago, and I think the first time that I had a thought about going vegan, I was actually at a restaurant and I had ordered a steak and it came out very, very, would you say medium rare?
Was it like rare, like bloody?
And it was supposed to be like a rare, yeah, it was bloody. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, I can't eat that. And I think I had that instant connection to what I was actually eating. So after that, it was pretty much an instant switch straight after that.
So you just went vegetarian or did you go straight
no,
to vegan?
I went full vegan.
Whoa, so like
After this, yeah.
did you do some research like about the dairy industry or was it just like, no, I just don't want any part of this?
Nope, just
Holy crap.
it was more just like, because I've always had like a big connection to the actual animal itself, because I've always grown up volunteering at animal shelters. My dad knew a friend who was working at a sanctuary as well, so I'd always be out there with all the Australian animals and stuff, and I'd remember just like chopping up at like frozen animals.
Okay.
And they were trying to get me to do that, and I was like, no, can't do it.
So you just made that connection so
Yeah,
quick.
pretty instantly.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I wish I had made that connection as quick as you. It's 23 years for me and I didn't go sort of like that, but I went for health. I didn't even go for ethics. It took me a couple of years later.
Definitely ethics.
Well, speaking about ethics, you were in the news just recently
Yeah.
for ethics. Do you want to give everybody just like a sort of a brief overview of why? So not so much the court case in the news, but like why you actually were in the news.
So it was probably maybe a year ago now, a few of me and my friends went into a factory farm, like a sow stall farm where there's mother pigs and baby pigs. And we basically had the intention to just document what we were looking at, just because we hadn't been there before. And once we saw the conditions that the pigs were in, we did decide to rescue the pigs.
You were going in there with the intention to film though.
I
Was that
haven't
what
really been into a factory farm. A few of the other people that I've been with have been before and seen it, but I don't think I've actually seen. I didn't really have any idea of what it would be like going in there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any expectation, but I wanted to see it for myself.
And when you sort of bear witness and you saw that all for yourself, what was that feeling?
It was more just like being in the position where you wish you could help all of the pigs inside at that one time. You feel kind of helpless because you know you're not walking out of there with the whole of the farm with you. So I think it's more just like feeling quite helpless and upset that you can't help all of the animals inside there.
Oh, I hate that feeling of helplessness. I always say that the top three worst feelings in the world are guilt, shame, and helplessness, because there's nothing you can really do. It just it's that pit of your stomach feeling. So you went in there with the intention just to sort of bear witness and sort of do some filming.
Yeah.
When did that go from we're just going to film this to let's take some piglets? Let's take it. Was that sort of like an impulse? There was no preconceived idea that this was going to happen?
When you're in there, you do feel quite. You obviously got a lot of adrenaline going through you. So I know, like if anyone's like felt adrenaline before, it does make you feel a little impulsive. And when you see the conditions that they're living in, and there's quite a few dead, there's dead pigs. There's like piles of dead pigs everywhere and blood everywhere, and there's a lot of sick piglets. So I think like our initial reaction was to just rescue as many as we possibly could from the farm to give them a better chance at living an actual life instead of being food.
So that was a year ago.
Yes.
And obviously drama kind of came with that.
Yeah.
And what sort of happened? What was the next thing? So obviously it took farmers' property, and then what was the next step?
Well, when after my house got raided, that's when obviously the media was published. That was at the very start.
Yep.
So it was kind of a little bit not as much media attention, just because they'd just got photos off social media, just because we had posted on social media. As you know, we did have adrenaline and we just wanted to share what we had experienced at that time. So we did share that, and that was obviously what landed us getting raided, which is oopsie.
If you had your time again, maybe that wouldn't have
Definitely not filming, yes. But I think we had good intentions trying to show what's going on, and I think it's so important with a platform to actually show people what they're paying for. So I think that was my only response, and I almost wanted to share how the piglets were acting outside of that kind of habitat, from being like inside, never seeing the sun, never seeing the grass, to then putting them outside in the sun and the grass and watching them just do so much better.
Absolutely. I actually, it's funny you talk about platform. So I'm a school teacher, and I will do this. There is a video that I show, and it's all about this kid who has a pet pig. And it's a pet baby pig. And the whole thing is all like people asking the child, hey, would you eat this pig? Like, is it food? And how much he loves this pig. And it's just like trying to break down those barriers between what we see as food in society and what we see as pets. And I just love that you're using your platform to try and get that out there. And I say this to everybody, and everybody gets sick of hearing this on my channel, but activism is a train of many carriages.
Yes.
And obviously you're an Instagram model. That's your sort of career. That's sort of what you do. So being able to use your audience and still sort of go out there for the animals. Is that really what you're wanting to do?
Yeah, I think like I feel so lucky to have a platform, because all I want to do is spread the message about animal agriculture and how bad it is for the environment, for people, and for the animals mostly. But yeah, I think I just feel so grateful to be able to actually have the platform to share. And I think it doesn't even matter how big your platform is. Like if you've got an Instagram, you have a platform and you can impact so many people by sharing, whatever kind of activism you want to share, like whether it's vegan recipes or what goes on in slaughterhouses or farms. It can be anything.
Or cringy vegan memes.
And memes, the best kind of activism ever. Because they're so relatable.
They are, always.
I think I look at every single one, I'm like, wow, that's me.
Everybody messages me and says, I feel attacked by your memes. So have you had, what's been the sort of the backlash? I don't want to use the backlash. Let's use a better word. Let's say, what has been the sort of a result of the media attention, the newspaper articles? Has it been a positive, or has it been a negative, or a bit of mixed?
I would definitely say mixed. I would say probably more positive than negative. Like obviously people are going to have their opinions, and they, social media is such a big platform. Everyone can kind of say what they want to say to people, but it doesn't kind of hinder me speaking to the media about it, or feel, worried about speaking out about animal cruelty. Like I still would, regardless of the hate or messages, I would still keep promoting veganism, because it's just like a big part of my life.
That warmed my heart a bit there. Sometimes it's not about doing things because you're afraid of the hate.
Yeah.
It's sort of drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is not right, guys, this is wrong. And the more we highlight and the more we shed light on the things that are wrong in society, people can only hide it for so long. It's like Wizard of Oz, like don't look at the man behind the curtain. Like once you draw that curtain open and you see it, you can't unsee it. And I bet you probably got a few people who probably reached out to you and said, hey, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
And now I've watched Lucent, or I've watched Dominion, and I've seen it, and you sparked. I would love to know how many people changed their life because of you. Like I would love to know that.
Like obviously people message and say, oh, like, you did a really good thing. And I think a lot of people, you can't, like, looking at media articles, seeing that I rescued a baby, kind of need to look at it in a perspective, like if that was you in that situation, you would want someone to come and help you. I would never ever be the victim in the situation like this. It's always about the animals. And
so you've had the whole media thing. What was the conclusion of that?
Basically, because they had far too much evidence, I decided just to plead guilty, and the outcome was a fine and also probation, so not leaving the country or the state for another year, and also community service.
So what are you doing for community service?
Wish I could volunteer at an animal sanctuary.
Why? Was that not part of you couldn't do that? It's volunteer work.
I don't think you get to pick.
Oh my gosh, did we just find a loophole?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, could we
If anyone knows.
Farm Animal Rescue, can you please reach out and
service.
Could you imagine doing community service at a farm animal rescue? That would just be perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Is there any messages to people who might be looking at more that sort of direct activism?
Yeah, well, I think like going into being vegan, you don't really know how you can help, but I think there's a lot of things that you can do. Like there's obviously vigils and there's peaceful protests. Like I obviously don't encourage people to go and break into a farm because obviously there's danger that comes with that. But yeah, I just think like anything that you promote, like learning a bit more about, educating yourself a little bit more, so that when you have these conversations with people, you can feel confident in promoting that lifestyle to another person. For me, I just like to know a little bit more so that if people are talking to me, like I can make a lot more sense of it and they can turn around and go, oh, like you're right, like, you know, this is completely wrong. Just because I've seen it with my own eyes, it does help and it does spark a little bit more fight in me, just because I like obviously have seen them in these conditions. So it is upsetting, and I think it'll stick with me forever. Like that feeling of, I guess, letting down the piglets that we did save, because I did forget to mention they were put down. The farmer had decided to put them down when he could have spared their lives. So they were taken from the property that the piglets were going to, a home. So they raided the home and took them, and made the decision to put them down because that's where they value. That's how they value them. When they didn't actually need to put them down, they could have spared their life, but they don't have that compassion. To them, it's just money.
There's just no, I was about to say, there's no value in that for them. And if anything, it was almost like I read the article headline,
right.
And I'm not going to lie, not many things, I'm usually pretty calm these days, I'm pretty chill. Certain things get to me, and the article headline and the news was, what was it? It was something along the lines of, you know, the pig had to be put down. That's not the main headline here, guys. The main headline is animal abusers are using animals for profit, and it's just not on. But no, that's not the story. The story is about an influencer, an Instagram model who did something wrong, as opposed to, wait a second, maybe we should shine some light on this industry. And I think education and what you're saying is 100% right. Guys, get educated. Every time I see people arguing about veganism online, I actually get a bit frustrated that people aren't more educated.
Education is key.
Yeah.
Because you don't need people to hate the idea of being vegan even more
True.
than they already
That's a good
do.
point.
So if you're just telling them like it's just an innocent animal that is not, it's just wants to live its life. So it's at the end of the day, you want to live your life, I want to live my life. No one's interrupting with that. And I'm sure if they were, like, people would defend you and come to your needs straight away if you were in any type of danger. They don't have that. They don't have anyone helping them. And I think that's what put me in the position of doing it myself, because they don't have help. Like, they, we're the kind of voice for them, and we're all like they have.
That's right. And there's no use pushing people away
of course.
When we need an army right now.
We need a big army.
We need a lot of people.
We're recruiting. No, I'm kidding.
That's it. We're recruiting. No, that's terrible. Last thing, I just want to say, so your Instagram, do you believe, because you are an Instagram model, do you think that people underestimate you?
Yeah, I think every person that has like a platform, model, whatever you're doing on social media, people always have an idea of what you could be like, but I think a lot of the time people don't actually know you for what you actually are, and you can't really share that online with people to that full extent, because they're not spending every day with you, they're not seeing you day in, day out and how you live your life. But yeah, I think a lot of people do kind of jump to that conclusion of just being like, oh, like, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you're doing it for attention for yourself, but I wouldn't risk my life for attention. So that's just,
hoping that Lauren inspires you, if you're watching this, to use your platform, maybe use it for education.
Don't be scared or shy. If you're getting hate from people and they're going, insulting you, it's just like, it's a little, like, I don't want to go down that path of saying denial, but a lot of people, they just don't like people that are passionate about what they're passionate about. So I think anything that you do, like, you've just kind of got to go full 100% at it.
The world is grey normally, and I just love when I talk to people who are passionate. Listen, thank you so much for coming on my channel, Lauren. I'm putting all Lauren's Instagram, all her social medias in the description box below. Definitely give her a follow. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it.
High five.
So easy. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, bye for now.
Peace.